You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers.
No matter what anybody says, no matter what anyone tries to put on you, no matter how much pressure comes, no matter how much separation is put in the middle of you and destiny, no matter how many ups and downs come, how many addictions, how many failures, how many successes. There's a couple things that I wanted to talk about with the select few that will come across this video and listen. I want you to be very, very in tune and listen very, very closely. And I feel the need to reiterate this again because there are folks that are depressed. There are people who are challenging their identity, their worth, their value. The world is beating down on them very, very heavily. The pressure of being famous, the pressure of being a part of society economically, physically, your character is being defined 24 hours a day by different characters outside of yourself. One minute you want to be this person, the next minute you want to be that person. It is absolutely imperative right now, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you're dealing with, the doubt, the rumors, the gossip, being borderline broke, being borderline on the street, being borderline empty, devoid of conscience, devoid of emotions, devoid of healing, devoid of peace. You might be mentally drained, you might be emotionally scarred, you might be questioning your life right now as we speak. Let me tell you something right now. This is the most crucial part of life where you should be focusing on yourself. Everything, and I mean absolutely everything about you is unique. Everything about you is tailored to a specific protocol, a specific person, a specific project, a specific path. Your fingernails, your hair follicles, your eye color, your walk, your speech, your laugh, how you communicate, how you perceive the world, how you enjoy life. Everything is tailor made specifically to you to complement life in general as a whole in unison. You are just as valuable and just as important as the next person who is in the same walk that you are. The only difference is some people cross over into other people's lanes while most, if not the majority, stay in their own. And a lot of us don't stay in our own. That's the problem. A lot of people are too worried about going into other people's lanes that they can't enjoy the destination or the road that they're supposed to be on enough. And you need to realize that until you are operating in your own space, in your own lane, that you are identifying your failures, your flaws, your likes, your weaknesses, the things that make you you, and you embrace them and love them and don't look at them like they're issues. Until you are able to get in line like that, you will always have an issue with yourself, and you will never have the individuals and the opportunities fully complement you in the ways that they need to, because you are out of order within your own self.
This idea that women were historically oppressed. Were they actually oppressed? If you go back and read their writings at the time in the 17th, 18th, 19th century, they said, no, we're privileged. And then you'll hear a feminist say something like, well, but they couldn't have bank accounts. But they never tell you why. It's because legally, women could not be held responsible for supporting the family. Women could not accrue debt that way. And what would be the point of a woman owning a bunch of land if she can't make the land produce anything? She can't defend the land against people who might come and try to take it. There were practical reasons for these things. Why would we want to task women with defense of persons and property? So why would we want to grant them voting
I would be
rights?
so pissed if I called the cops and they sent me a female cop.
Well,
I would be
that's the thing,
so
right? If
pissed.
there's a natural disaster, there's like a huge hurricane that takes out the entire southeast, right? And the power's out.
You have
and
a
there's
female
flood.
firefighter.
Nobody's like, oh, send
Well,
the
I'm an
feminists.
athlete.
Why do we have
Parents and you ask them, you said, I have a choice. I can either quit doing all of this tomorrow, right? And go get a job for like a tenth of this. Or I can continue to do this and send you money. Which one do you think they would ask?
My mom would say, absolutely quit. My dad, he'd be like, oh my God, no, why would you ever quit?
Your dad would say that?
My dad would say that I send money to my dad so that he can be comfortable with
he's
their
a
family.
pastor?
No, he's not a pastor anymore. They stopped being a pastor when I was like 18.
Okay, but he was, and he retained his faith, right?
He did. I'm his daughter though. I'm not just some stranger. He's like, you know what? If I want her in
doesn't
my
that
life,
make it worse? Like, wouldn't that make it
Absolutely
worse?
not.
Working at a hospital keep you busy, but it'll also keep you entertained, bitch. I done seen so much shit in the last 2 years that I've been working here. I remember one time I was on the surgery floor, right? And they had a psych patient down there that just got done having surgery. Now, when you have a psych patient, you got to take everything out the room. Nightstands, table stands, everything, bitch, the phone. So I had a room down on the surgery floor. I'm doing my room, and I just hear, I know security down there at the room and shit, but I just hear a lot of loud commotion and yelling and shit. So me being me, nosy, I stepped into the hallway like, and I just seen all the CNAs and nurses going to this one room, and which was the psych patient room, right? So I grabbed my garbage and act like I was finna go dump it because, her room right there by the soil utility closet. As I'm getting ready to walk past this lady room, I bullshit you not, one of the nurses, his ass came out the room, stumbled, and dropped everything. I'm talking about he dropped his work phone, his cell phone, his keys, all that shit. As he on the ground picking it up, he looking up at everybody like, look, black women crazy ain't got shit on white people crazy. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this lady? So I get to walking past her room. As I'm walking past her room, why she take her little IV thing, the little IV cord, and start wrapping it around her fucking neck? I said, what the fuck? Everybody just got to run in the room, try to save her ass. So the next day I had asked her CNA, because I know her CNA, she my friend, whatever, right? I asked her, I said, why did she take that IV cord and wrap around her neck? You know what the lady said? The lady told her they taking everything else out the room, like I ain't got an IV in my arm that I can use to hurt myself with. Valid point.
Hence why things don't go the way that they should be going. Being you is the greatest part of having this vessel that you could ever get. Why wouldn't you want to be you? The only reason you're looking at your flaws the way that you're looking at your flaws and your deficiency is because you allowed the world to identify them as such. That doesn't necessarily make it valid or true whatsoever. See, what you're going to need to do is cut this and stop allowing so much traffic in and out of you, out of your spiritual house, out of the way that you perceive and you hear things. Straight up. Just my message, just from my own personal experience. I truly believe that. Here's the question I have for you. If your mom, dad, cousins, brothers, schoolmates, crushes, street dealers, pedestrians, store owners, co-workers, if none of them ever said anything or ever did anything to you in any type of way, positive or negative, would you still look at yourself and feel the way that you feel about yourself? Would you still perceive the world the way you perceive it if you never suffered any of the outcomes that come with interacting with people who are questioning their own mortalities, would you still look at yourself as mediocre, prideful, greedy, lustful, unmotivated? Would you still look at yourself in ways only your enemy will look at you if you never had any of this stuff influencing you? Probably not. Let this year be the year that you do the work on yourself, love you for being who you are, and thank God that you were brought into the position that you're in so that he can use you to show the world that things don't have to necessarily operate under the same jurisdictions as everyone else's perceptions. Straight up. It's time to lock in. Absolutely time to lock in.
Merry Christmas, filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.